What's going on, everybody? Coach Cody here today with Fit in 42 Kingwood. Today's topic is carbohydrates. Are they good for you or are they not so good for you? I'm going to clear the air once and for all, everybody. Carbohydrates are 100% good for you. Necessary. Everybody needs carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your body's #1 source of energy. Without them, we would not function the way that we're supposed to. We would have low energy levels. We would struggle with our sleep. We wouldn't have enough energy to get through our workouts or even our day most of the time. We'd be pretty cranky, and overall, we'd suffer a lot of other side effects that come along with not having carbohydrates in our diets at all. So guys, most of us tend to have way too many carbohydrates when we do eat carbohydrates. Carbohydrates also most of the time are fried and covered in crap, are they not? Such as a French fry, right? So if in my left hand I had a sweet potato and in my right hand I had a white potato, what would be the difference between these two potatoes? They're the same, right? Wrong. They are completely different from one another. The white potato, for instance, would be a simple carbohydrate. It would be much higher on the glycemic index for carbohydrates than that of a sweet potato, which would be much lower on the glycemic index for carbohydrates. When you ingest a carbohydrate, that energy digested eventually gets broken down and turned into usable energy known as glucose, okay? So same thing when we ingest sugar, it gets turned to glucose immediately and utilized as energy. Now, when you're eating carbohydrates, you want to make sure that you have most of your carbohydrates come from complex sources, such as sweet potato, whole grain oatmeal, and oats, steel cut oats, vegetables, quinoa, from brown rice, rather than that of white rice, white potato, chips, French fries, mashed potatoes. These are all going to be your simple pastas. These are all going to be your simple starches, simple carbohydrates, and then you're going to have your complex starches on the other hand. Okay, guys? So when you're having and you're choosing carbohydrates, the first rule is to make sure that you're portioning out your carbohydrates properly. Whether it is a simple starch or a complex carbohydrate, most of us tend to eat way too much. If we go for mashed potatoes, it's like this much mashed potatoes. It's like 5 servings worth of mashed potatoes. If we go for potato chips, we generally eat like the whole bag. If we go for French fries, we generally get the large French fries and eat way too much. Now guys, stay away from French fries. Stay away from potato chips covered in oil. They're not going to help you. But even still, we tend to eat way too many carbohydrates when we do eat them. Try to get your carbohydrates from vegetables, from fruits, from whole grains, from sweet potato, from quinoa, from brown rice. These are going to be carbohydrates that digest much slower and give your body usable and lasting energy. We call that a complex carbohydrate. They digest slower. Simple starches, just using a French fry as an example, or a white potato, is going to digest much quicker. So boom, that simple starch gets ingested and it's usable energy right then and there. It's going to turn into glucose really quickly. And if you don't use that energy, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to get stored directly into your fat stores. Okay, guys? So when you have carbohydrates, portion them out properly. A good way to know if you're having the proper amount of carbs is cupping your hand. Whatever carbs can fit in the cup of your hand here would be a sufficient and reasonable amount of carbs to eat with that meal, okay? Fruit is gonna be a good carbohydrate. Vegetables have plenty of good and complex carbohydrates, and as well as the other complex carbohydrates that we talked about in this video. So anyways, guys, carbohydrates are not bad. Please include carbohydrates in your nutrition. Just don't overdo it, and just don't eat more simple carbohydrates than you do complex carbohydrates. I hope this information helped you guys. Have a wonderful day, team, and I will see you in the gym very soon.